Hi. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Dan.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Hola.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. I just watched. First, hello and welcome to episode 141 of the Game Brew Podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs, discuss video games, and believe it or not, there is some assembly required. So, I won't tell you what part of it is, but
that's for you to find out.
It's for us to know and you to wonder about. On this episode of the Game Brew Podcast, we asked the question, when things is different that was the same, do we like the same or the different better?
Yeah. That's a good question.
That's the question that we're asking. But first, it's time for... Hey! Gray has resubscribed.
Hey!
For 20
Thanks,
months. We have been around for a while.
Yep.
And Brass Monkey, hello. First time chatter. But also first, it's time for a bev. Chris. My buddy.
Yeah, that's me.
My goodest buddy.
D.
My best good friend. What
That's me.
are you drinking this fine evening?
I'm drinking this delightful beverage here.
What is that? Chocolate milk?
What do you think? Yeah? Do you think it's chocolate? It's sort of like chocolate milk.
Is it are you doing an Irish car bomb?
No. Also a good guess.
Is it Nog?
No.
Okay.
It's I'm going to call it a white Ukrainian.
Okay.
So apparently it comes in cans now, Cutwater.
Oh,
they do a lot of like seltzers and stuff, I think.
Okay.
But they also do white Ukrainians.
Huh. Interesting. And?
Yep. So it's gluten free.
Well, that's good.
It's pretty good. It has a little more bite than I think I would like it to have, but like it's pretty
That's
good.
interesting. I don't think of my white Slavs as having bite to them.
Yeah, well, I guess it's from the vodka. I mean, usually Caucasians are pretty not too bitey.
That's true.
I guess
We're pretty boring.
Yes,
Oh, the
but
Slavs.
yeah, I mean, it would probably be better with ice, but I don't happen to have that next to me,
Yeah.
and I had this next to me, so here I am
Here
ice.
are without ice and just white Slavic gentlemen all up in here.
Yeah, but it's it's pretty good. I'll get it again.
Brass Monkey is now following us. Do you get you don't hear the oh yeah whenever that happens, do you?
Oh yeah. That's Will too, right?
It's Will, and I do hear it whenever we get a follower. So thank you for the follow, Brass Monkey. That funky monkey.
I believe that is I believe that might be Trey, but I'm not sure. Katie's brother.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I know he's a funky monkey. So
He is.
I'm drinking right now, following our tradition of drinking things that are milky, I guess. I'm drinking a Yuengling Hershey's chocolate porter.
I think I had. So we went to Hershey Park a little over a month ago, and I believe I had that with my dinner.
It is fine.
Chocolatey.
It is a lot chocolatier than I would normally like my porters to be, because typically a porter, when you drink it, is a little bit more on the alcohol-y side. Like it's I think, I don't know, I could be wrong. Like is a stout or a porter more alcohol-y?
I think it really depends.
Okay.
Because like I know like bourbon barrel stouts can get pretty alcohol-y.
That's true. They can.
Which is what I'm going to be having after this.
Nice.
Coffee. Are you referring to the chuggability of the Cutwater?
But probably both.
Or
I mean, it's been a while since we did a chuggability rating because coffee hasn't been on for a while.
Very true. This is his fault.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Chuggability, I'm going to say you could drink it quickly, but you shouldn't because it's cream based.
That's a good idea. You're probably right. The Yuengling, I mean, so what's the chuggability then?
Could or should? I think you could.
It's not. There's not a could or should. It's just chuggability.
Yes, there is, because I could chug it quickly, but I shouldn't because
So
It'll hurt me later.
so then the answer is a responsible
For
low
responsible, I would say
a low
a
chuggability.
1 to 2.
Right. But
For
as
dummies,
high.
pretty high, like a 4 or 5.
Right. This is the Hershey's chocolate porter. I mean, it's a fairly medium chuggability, but it's also a porter, so it's like chugging a chocolate milkshake. You know, it's just you can't do it fast. You know, you could do
Right.
it. It's just gonna hurt a lot.
Right.
And I threw up my back on Thursday, so I don't want to hurt myself anymore. Because
Yeah,
old
if you
man.
chug too hard, it might hurt your back.
And Coffee's on vacation right now, is what he says. Well,
Oh, enjoy your vacay.
well, look at who's on vacation. But Allison isn't here right now. She might join us in the middle, or as we continue to be on the internet. So
That was a way to phrase that.
yeah, while we're on the internet, there may be an Allison that just pops up into. See, that's why I don't put us all in our own little boxes anymore. Because if anyone comes in, they're just in there, and then I don't have to worry about it. So
Man, this whole thing is really just getting lazier and lazier.
Hey, listen, you call it lazy, I call it efficiency. Okay?
That's true. That is
It's
very
more
true.
efficient this way. But you mentioned a movie before, and I just watched the movie Bullet Train on
What movie did I
Netflix.
mention before?
I don't remember, but it had Brad Pitt. I think you said Brad Pitt.
I didn't say Brad Pitt.
Somebody said something about something.
I think you're just trying to make a really bad segue.
But anyway, I saw the movie Bullet Train
And?
on Netflix. Really good, really good. A lot of just like famous people in it.
Cool.
And it's like it's by the guy who did all the Deadpool movies, who's also Ryan Reynolds' stunt double. So
Oh yeah.
so like it's good. It's kind of like the movies we like Lucky Number 11.
Okay.
You know, Seven Psychopaths, where it's like it's an action movie, but it's also like a mystery and like it's like a whodunit kind of
Like
thing.
a thinking man's action movie.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's pretty violent, pretty gory, but it was good. Me and Hannah watched it yesterday, and it was great. So
Very cool.
that's
Sounds good.
That's my movie
Man,
recommendation.
I'm really glad that we have this movie podcast.
This movie podcast. Oh, speaking of which, Chris, guess what?
Are we watching Dead or Alive?
No, we get to watch.
We get to watch Rampage.
We get to watch Rampage finally. So that's the next. If you are a subscriber to the Game View podcast, which if you're a subscriber to this, you're a subscriber to that one. Which watch that. Why not this week, and then we'll do it on the next episode. Wait, what's next week? Is going to be the 11th.
Yeah, the 11th.
The 11th. That should be fine. We'll do watch Rampage this week. We'll see how bad it is, and then we'll put it on our big list of movies that we have for what is good and what is bad on the Game View podcast. But
Very
this
good.
being a beverage and video games podcast, we're going to talk about some video games that we've been playing to tell you if you should play them.
Oh, is that for me?
Or make up your own minds. I don't know. Chris,
Yeah.
what are you doing, man? I mean,
Um,
I see what you're doing.
So I wasn't gonna get Darktide, the new Warhammer game. It's similar to Vermintide, except it's in the dark and less verminy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bugs. The bugs inside people. You squish people.
Well, yeah, there's bugs inside of them, but yeah. Anyways, so this is set in the 40K universe instead of the fantasy universe
Right.
of Warhammer. But basically the same premise, same kind of gameplay loops, but really kind of expanding and really, trying to perfect their formula for it.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's been pretty enjoyable. I was a little worried when I played the beta for it like a month or two ago because it felt like it was missing a bunch of stuff, which it was. So it just basically didn't have all the systems unlocked for it.
Right. All like the extra like buffs and like the bind mechanics and stuff. I played it too. But yeah.
What do you think so far?
I mean, it's good. It's more of the only thing that I will say is it is just kind of more of the same thing,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
it's still, and this is kind of the same sort of dilemma I face with like anytime there's like a Left 4 Dead clone that comes out or another battle royale or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just like, it's just like, I'm like, what's different? What's new? What's new and fun about this? This one, I will say, it is fun to impersonate the voice actors who are in it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they gave
yeah,
110%.
110% to the God Emperor himself, for the Legion. In particular, I really like talking like my guy because he's a preacher zealot, and he's just like very angry, which
I
is
mean, that makes
great.
sense. If you were a preacher zealot, you'd probably be pretty angry
Probably,
in
I
general, as a
probably
general
would.
statement. Um, yeah, and I agree with you in some ways. I think they did a really good job of fleshing out like the Warhammer world and kind of
Yeah,
showing what that's like. And it's like that's just some really cool set pieces. Um,
especially because it's just the one. Like it's just the one. Like it's the what are they called? The Legion? Is that what they're called? That
the
the race Space Marine, is that Space Marines
Space
or
Marines. I mean, we haven't seen any Space Marines yet.
I know, but like is that what they're called? These people, the like people the game is based around in
No,
Warhammer.
they're not. Those aren't Space Marines. But like in the game Dark Tide, there haven't been any Space Marines. But
Right.
Space Marines are like the main air quotes protagonists because no one's actually good in this. Um,
Well, right, yeah, they're all bad, but like that's the name of like the of
yeah.
that. Like if I were to buy a set of the things, I
It'd
would be
probably
like
be Space Marines.
Space Marines.
Yes,
Okay, not like they
and
wouldn't
there's
say
lots
that,
of
but
different flavors
there's
of
different
that.
flavors of Space Marines. Got it. I
Uh-huh.
want the I want that cherry flavored version.
They have that.
Ooh, paint them red. Oh my back. But yeah. So
It is definitely a game that is more fun with friends.
yeah, if you are with randos, it's not as exciting, which is kind
Yeah.
of what keeps me from playing it on my own.
Uh-huh.
Because like I don't want to play with it, but I have this problem anyway. I just don't want to play with randos. I just want to play with people I
Same.
know. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
randos. Generally, the randos I get paired with are dumb,
dumb randos.
and I
And
don't like that.
or it was like, what was it, Beasley or whatever it was we were playing with the other day, who just kept running, or like Breely, he just kept running out, doing
Yeah,
things, and then
he just
dying.
kept dying. We had to pick him up and
Just
keep going,
get him
and
again, dying,
yeah,
pick him up, get him back again. Um,
classic Beasley.
classic Beasley.
Mm.
Pam, The Office, Pam Beasley.
Maybe.
But yeah,
And then I'm pretty boring, so I've been playing Warhammer Total War 3 as well.
nice.
Um, they came out with a new patch for it, so there was, I don't know if they'd call it an issue, but it was an issue for me where the AI was very good at dodging artillery shots
Mm,
to the
got it.
point that it was just like pointless to use artillery.
It didn't
because
make
you
any
would,
sense to do it.
yeah, because like immediately after the artillery shot, like if you had like a mortar, it would like the AI would immediately move out of the way
Just
of
be
where it
like,
was
oh,
going to land.
I guess we should get out of the way then. Oh,
And yeah, it was not cool. I hated it.
I'm so
Um,
sorry, but they fixed that.
so
They made the AI dumber.
yeah, they made the AI dumber,
Nice, nice.
and now it's pleasing to use artillery again.
So continuing, Total War Warhammer 3.
Yep.
Gotta
Pretty boring.
for the orcs.
Oh, and I was playing a little bit of XCOM too.
Oh, which one? XCOM
XCOM
2?
2.
Sorry,
Yes.
I thought you meant XCOM as well.
No, XCOM
But
2.
you were playing XCOM 2 as well.
Correct.
So that's good. They came out with this came out the last couple days, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Marvel XCOM type that just came out.
I saw that on the
Um,
storefront page. It was, what was it called? It was called,
Dark, no.
nope, not Dark Tide.
The Marvel's
Oh, I saw it on the front
Night.
page and now it's not there.
Marvel's Night. No. Not Night Stalkers.
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. Yeah, I was confused about what it was because I was like, I have heard nothing about this, and I have no idea what it is.
Oh, interesting. It's developed by Firaxis.
Yeah,
it's an XCOM. It's XCOM 2.
It's XCOM 2, but it's Marvel, and apparently it's really good. People are saying it's a
really
fun game. Yeah,
I've been seeing mixed things on Steam about it.
Yeah, Steam gives us. I don't know. I don't trust Steam reviews as much anymore. I don't trust reviews anymore because who does? But yeah, I'll have to try that. See what it's like. Do
you know if that's getting on Game Pass?
I have no idea if that's going to be on Game Pass or not. I'm going to say no. Hannah sends me so many TikToks whenever I am recording the podcast that I can't watch until I finish the podcast. And I'm like, does she know?
I'm sure she does.
She does. It's just like I see the things pop up on my phone. Everything should go on Game Pass is what Coffee says. It really should. So I've been playing God of War Ragnarok still. It's a lot. It's long. It's a longer game.
Does it Ragnarok?
It does Ragnarok.
Nice.
Just because it is like it is like trying to hit all the like mythology stuff around Ragnarok. So I'm just like, oh yeah, this is what's supposed to happen, and like this is how Ragnarok starts. And they're like, oh yeah, they're kind of hitting all the beats. And it really is like in the first game, you kind of got to see like Kratos' growth from being just a grunty man to being
a grunty anger machine,
a grunty angry murder machine into a god. Now you get to see like, or into like a father figure, and
aka a god.
And then in this one, it's really like he's grown up a lot. Like he's really become more of a parent. And Atreus is like in his teens, so he's also like going through like his angsty stuff, and there's a lot.
He's always been angsty.
Well, he was kind of annoyingly angsty in the first one because he was just like, "I'm a kid. Tell me what blah blah blah."
I'm stupid and my mom's dead.
Yeah, but now he's like a teenager, and he's trying to make his own decisions about stuff. So my favorite mechanic in this game is that you don't just play as Kratos and Atreus the whole time. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but there's you play as like sometimes you play as Kratos and Atreus, sometimes it's Kratos and like his other assorted like companions who are there that are like your secondary person. And then also you get to play as Atreus and assorted little companion people. So you'll be Atreus doing all of like your bow shooting and smashing and stuff, and then whoever is with you at the time, you can do like companion maneuvers and level up stuff. So it's really expanded on like the type of game that it is, and also the story is very like father son family themes. Here we go: father, son, family, forgiveness, destiny. Destiny, fate, chosen family, extinction, what to do when you're in Helheim, all those things. It's very cold there. That's my favorite thing about Norse mythology is like everywhere else is like hell's hot, there's fire, and they're like, no,
nah, dude, it's real cold.
It's real cold. There's ice and stuff. Shoot, get out of there. But I've also been playing that. I'm still not done, and I'm not going to be done for a while because I got to find all the things. And I got to. Uh-oh. We lost Chris. He's back.
Discord decided that right now wanted to update.
Oh, there needed to be an update right then. That's when that happened. I thought you were just really you were just like, yeah.
No, gotta play it right now.
Gotta play it right now. That's so good. I've also been playing Soccer Story that just came out. Too.
What is Soccer Story?
Do you remember the game Golf Story, where it's like it's like a little 2D-ish adventure where it's like an RPG, but you play golf.
No, I don't.
Okay.
You talked about this, didn't you?
Ian talked about it a while
Ian
ago.
talked about it. That's right. Okay, yes.
But this is the same thing except it's soccer. And they do make a point of like saying like there's like it's soccer and they say like a football club and they do say football. Like they hit both sides of that issue. There's even two characters who like one is like it should always be called soccer and nothing else, and there's one character who's like it should be called football and nothing else.
Do you think in other countries it's Football Story?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Maybe it's Football Story. Hold on. Let's look on the internet. Is it Football Story in other countries? Boom. Nope, it does not. It does not tell
Well,
me.
there is one on Steam.
Football Story?
Yep, and it's releasing in a year and 7 months.
Oh, so that's different. That's a different thing. But it's good. It's cute. It's like an RPG. You do quests. You kick a soccer ball at stuff.
I love quests.
It's in a dystopian future where during a soccer match, like there was like a giant explosion, and they were like, "Oh, it was because of the soccer match. So no more soccer unless it's tightly controlled by a corporation." So
soccer causes explosions.
Only soccer played by not Soccer Incorporated causes explosions. Hence,
that makes sense.
The adventure. So, like, no one's allowed to talk about soccer or play soccer unless they're an officially sanctioned. It's very anime-like.
Are you saying that the first rule of soccer is that
you don't
talk about soccer?
Talk about soccer. Yeah, Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, bringing it around again.
Yep, you were just predicting the future.
I do that all the time. It is cute and it is fun. It's like it's good for like kids because it's not too difficult, but it's also good for adults because there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes and stuff like that. It's like the movie Shrek, but a video game. Yeah, and I'm also playing Persona 5.
The developer is Panic Barn.
Panic Barn, yes. It's good. It's good. I recommend it if it's on Game Pass. Love Game Pass.
Everybody loves Game Pass.
Listen, we love Game Pass. 5 years ago, we didn't like Game Pass, but guess what?
Remember? Yeah, I was about to say. Remember when we used to hate Game Pass?
Now we love Game Pass.
Game Pass is so cool.
We love Game Pass because then I don't have to make decisions. I can let the Game Pass make decisions for me. It's like, what am I going to play this week? And it's like, this game that's, just came out. It just released. Play this. Oh, I beat a game that was called Somerville. That was a very cool experience. It was a little buggy, not perfect, but it was a sci-fi video game, Somerville. Because it's kind of like there's an alien invasion, you're just a guy. But it was it started out a little scary, but then it just got to be good sci-fi. And there's no dialogue or anything, so it's just you kind of have to...
Is it a side scroller?
No. It's like it's kind of similar to the way like that Inside is.
I was about to ask, it kind of reminds me of Inside, the way it looks.
It's not the same company. It is made by one of the executive producers of Inside and Limbo and all that kind of stuff, but different game. Gray says he'll never forgive Game Pass after the day it took my family. Well, you should have told Game Pass you had a particular set of skills that make you a nightmare for Game Pass.
Companies like Microsoft.
No, Sony is a nightmare for companies like Microsoft because they just keep making EU stuff, yell at them and do sanctions and whatever. But Somerville, good. It's a short game. It's like 3 hours, I think it took. I played it and beat it in like in an evening.
In like one sitting.
Yeah. And I got all the different endings for it too.
Wow.
So, yay.
What was it worth doing all the endings?
Kind of. It's different. One of the ways to get the true ending is pretty complicated. It's a lot of really knowing what to look for. and communicate with, because there's no dialogue, but there's like some communication that happens between these little balls that roll around and like flash different things depending on the situation they're in. So you kind of have to pay attention to that. It's a little complicated, but you can figure it out. Or use a guide or whatever. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Listen, use the internet. It exists. You know what we didn't have whenever we first started playing video games? The internet. You know what we have now?
You know what? I remember like downloading and like printing out guides.
Oh yeah.
On my dial-up internet. And then
forever.
going to go play stuff. Yeah.
I want to go download all the cheat codes for GTA 3. So I'm going to do that. And then
I still remember some cheat codes.
Spawn Tank is one of my favorite ones. I don't remember how it goes. I mean, we all know the up, down, down, left, right, BA, start.
The classic.
The classic.
I remember a bunch from StarCraft.
Name one. Go.
Power overwhelming.
Power overwhelming. Is that infinite pylons?
No, that is invincible, I believe.
Nice. God mode. What's that? Tilde God mode. That's how you do it. Rosebud was the one in The Sims that would give you money. It would just give you a bunch of money.
Greed is good was unlimited gold in Warcraft 3.
Oh, yep. Oh, I love it. All right,
good
welcome
times.
to our cheat codes episode. My name is Dan.
Yep.
What's your favorite cheat code? Mine is everyone who I play Call of Duty against, and there are
DK mode in GoldenEye.
It is good. Speaking of DK mode, I know we're gonna go with a little tangents, but did you see the new trailer, the full trailer for the Mario movie?
Yes. It looks better than it did before.
I agree with you on that. Because it's like I was just like, okay, it seems like Chris Pratt and everyone else is just using their normal voices and not trying to do, like, it's worse. It's better if you don't do an accent than if you just
do it poorly.
Just do a bad accent. Just don't do it. Like, just kind of just be you. Just be you. You do you, honey boo boo. But
though I do appreciate that Jack Black's throwing a little something on it though.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Jack Black. He's gonna put his like this part on it, you know. He's like, where are you? Like, he's just so Jack Black about it. So, but that's it. Put Mario's in the chat if you're gonna see the Mario movie when it comes out. But anyway, this is a podcast where we talk about stuff, and we have things to talk about this week.
Yeah, we do.
What we're going to talk about is how things are different and sometimes the same, but then also different a little bit.
Yeah.
And by that, what we mean is whenever there's like an IP or intellectual property that moves from one like type of thing to another, you might think about this like there's Dark Souls, right? There's the Dark Souls game. There's also a Dark Souls board game that you can buy, you know, or
with actually some really cool miniatures in it.
They have some really cool miniatures in it. Or like what we're playing is like Warhammer 40,000 is already a game, but then there's there's Darktide, which is also a game. It's just a different part of it. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So are they? And the question is, are they actually? Are they good, or is it just cashing in on popularity of something that's popular to get those monies? Get them gills.
I think as a generality, it depends.
I mean, that's the answer to every question we have on the Game Brew podcast, which is that it depends. You know, it's like sometimes. But
and like especially with a lot of the Warhammer IP, they were very
true
lenient with their IP for a long time. They just wanted to get everything and anything out there for exposure.
More Warhammer stuff.
So there's a lot of real bad games.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff. There was, I think one of the ones that we never saw, but everyone was really excited for, but it never happened. I feel like I forget why. It was either because it got stuck in development hell, or the developer that was doing it shut down. But there was StarCraft Ghost. Was like there was like StarCraft games. Everybody knew what StarCraft was. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, StarCraft."
Fun fact: StarCraft started life as a Warhammer game.
Oh, it did. That's right. It did,
Mm-hmm.
didn't it? Oh, interesting.
Yep.
And then it went into the video game space, and then everyone started doing tournaments, and like APMs was the thing people talked about. And then they came out with this game, and it looked really cool. It was like a stealth shooter called StarCraft Ghost, and then that never happened. It's in the same place that Star Wars 1313 is right now, which we also never saw. But that's another one, Star Wars stuff, where there's like literally.
I mean, there's Star Wars everything.
You know what I saw the other day? There's a Pandemic game. You know the game Pandemic?
Like, yeah,
It's
like
the,
where you
it's,
make like where like you try to work together to stop a disease.
Yeah.
It's like I think there's like the opposite called Contagion, maybe.
Contagion is a video game.
Right. Yes.
Pandemic is where it's where you're trying to work together to stop the spreading disease. There's a bunch of different versions of it. There's a Clone Wars version they just came out with, where
Why?
it's because they're probably trying to stop the Clone Wars before Order 66 gets called. So, just Discord or just
Discord.
I'm sewing Discord. Just Pandemic things. But Pandemic is a really fun board game, and there's a lot of different like types of it. I have a Cthulhu version. I don't like.
Is it good?
Is
it better than the original?
It's different.
Like Pandemic game.
It's different, but it's not.
Should it be called Pandemic still?
Yeah, because it still uses the same system. It's like whenever you play D&D and you're using like the or like
the 5e system.
Like D&D uses the 5e system. There's also like the Powered by the Apocalypse, which is what like Monster of the Week, which we've played a little bit of, uses that. Then there's also like the Fate system, which is another one. So it's kind of the same. It uses the Pandemic system. Just like there's the Betrayal system, which is like Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
House on Haunted, yeah.
On the House on Haunted Hill? No, that's a movie.
I just assumed that's the same thing.
That's a movie.
It's not the same? It seems like it's the same.
It's not. No, Liam Neeson's in one of them, and the other one, it's
he's in the board game? How did they put him in each game?
I don't know, but because he called it, and he was just like, "Listen, I have a very particular set of skills.
Bring it around."
And one of those skills is put me in this board game. So please put me in this board game.
I can be everywhere all at once.
But I will say it depends, and I kind of want to swing this conversation into what it depends on. And I have, there are board games that are video games. So there's like the Dark Souls board game, which is Dark Souls.
Have you played it?
I haven't played it. We have it's on Tabletop Simulator. We could try playing it and see what it's like, because it requires some setup, and there's a book. Like it's one of those games where there's like a book of rules you have to learn.
And that feels really authentic.
It does. But that's kind of one of the things where there's two different types of games. There's like that, where it's like, okay, it's the Dark Souls board game, where it's like it's the same thing, just a board game kind of thing. Or like the Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which is like it's a betrayal game, but it's very like it's using Baldur's or Dungeons and Dragons, Faerun type stuff. Then there's like your like gamer Monopoly, where it's like it's got Mario stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, great.
Or like Zelda Monopoly, or like Dan Monopoly. You should make Dan Monopoly.
Dan Monopoly. What would some of the streets on Dan Monopoly be? Regret.
Despair.
Despair.
Oh,
Why
man.
am I still doing this podcast after 6 years?
Friendship.
Chance card. Friendship. What would there be for? Instead of railroads, there would just be tubas, instruments. There'd be instruments on every corner.
Different instruments that you've played.
That'd be great. I'll have to make that. I think, but back to my point, I think that a game that is crafted from the source material and then made on its own is better than just like, okay, here is a game that exists. I'm just going to flavor it with this stuff.
Like,
I'm going to flavor it with gamer stuff.
Like Pandemic.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, I haven't seen like a video game Pandemic, but like the Star Wars Clone, like I'm not going to spend $60 on Star Wars: The Clone Wars Pandemic.
Yeah, and like
Star
I have
Wars.
the Game of Thrones Catan.
Yeah.
With the thing being, it's got a wall, and wildlings can pop through instead of like having the bandit.
Mm-hmm.
So like the that mechanic is slightly different. So it's like slightly different, but like very Catan-y.
Still Catan.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones flavored.
And I think you can play it as normal Catan if you'd like to.
Yeah, okay. If something is Game of Thrones flavored, it's really good up until the last like 2 bites.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh,
and then you're like,
this
is real bad.
It's
going to end unexpectedly, and
we've been watching it again, and we just watched the Battle of the Bastards, and I'm like, man, this was so much better than any of the stuff in the last season.
Like, yeah, well, and just like in general, that show was real good until it wasn't.
Until D&D.
And they just tried to push too much too fast. Anyways, this is a gaming podcast.
Eventually, we're gonna be around long enough that we're gonna see the time whenever we change this just into a we talk about movies pod.
Or we just talk about whatever the fuck we want.
Whatever the fuck we want. Just like all the other podcasts that I see on TikTok. We're somehow gonna change to having New Jersey accents, and then we're just or like either Italian.
I mean, we kind of already did that.
That's true. Johnny Two Hammers does exist.
Yeah.
But more so, like, we're just gonna start yelling at each other. It's like, what do you mean you've never used shoes before, huh?
This guy over here without his shoes.
This guy now wearing shoes. What do you wear on your feet when you go outside? I wear boots. What the fuck is wrong with you, boots?
But to bring it back to your point, I do think that it makes, like, if a game is like kind of custom made for that IP, it seems to do a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like it feels less of like a cash grab.
Right.
That being said, I think there are good ways to add flavor. Like, and I think that the new 40K Magic the Gathering Commander decks that came out earlier this year do a decent job of that, and I think Commander was the right way to do it because you have like your leader, which is what you would have in the tabletop game,
and then you have like all your other little ads that are on there. There is some in the MTG community. There is some disdain over that kind of stuff, because a lot of people feel that there have been way too many releases of Magic the Gathering stuff recently.
I think those are two separate issues.
I mean, I agree. But they're kind of like, oh, like there's the Secret Lair stuff where there's always a new collaboration with something, and people think the people making the biggest stink is they're like, oh, it's devaluing some of the cards, and I'm like, I don't care about that. I just want to play Magic the Gathering and have cool little art things. Yeah,
right. So. Well, and like even so in the Commander decks, there are some cards that aren't completely new.
Yeah.
But they have flavor text.
They're just different.
Relevant to 40K, which is cool.
Just different things. I think the biggest thing is just like Magic the Gathering. They just are releasing for the 30th anniversary. They're going to release like $1,000 thing, which is like 4 different packs that are like classic re-releases of cards. So you could get like a Black Lotus.
Lotus, yeah, which is a little weird.
But
like that Black Lotus is never going to be as valuable as.
Oh no, it's not. And you can't use it in play anyway, which is why people. That's the thing where it's just like, why are they even doing this if you can't use it for play and it's going to cost that much? That's just what I would call Hasbro doing a cash grab. You know?
Sure. Yes, that is definitely that. I mean, the 40K stuff was definitely a cash grab, but like
not as
also
much.
I think did a good job with it.
Well, yeah, because then it's like whenever, especially because whenever they build a Commander deck, they're building it to be played. They're not building it just to have, you know?
Right.
like with some of the other stuff where it's like, oh, it's a different art card or it's a different it's like a 30th. It's like you can't use any of those in play anymore. So this is, if it's a commander deck, they make it to be like you're supposed to play it with commander with other people.
Right.
So, yeah. So I think that is different, and I really do enjoy those. I think it's fun to have like little art cards of different stuff.
Yeah.
Collectible card games are pretty good things. There's a lot that come out like with like I was at Target the other day and they had like a My Hero Academia card battler, which I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't know why. It's like, why does it need to be that? Why does there need to be that? Is it just trying to...
Is it like a whole new CCG?
Yeah, it's like a whole new CCG. It's like, so it's like, I don't know what that is, but that's been happening for you. There was like a Naruto one, and they're just like, I think it's like, if you can put pictures on cardboard and sell it to children, someone's gonna...
I mean, there was a Star Wars one, and I didn't know how to play the game, but I thought it was cool that there were Star Wars cards.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think deck builders would probably be a better way to do that.
I have seen there's some like board gamed up deck building games.
Yeah, have you played the Harry Potter one?
No, tell me about it.
So it's you played a deck builder, correct?
Is it where you build a deck, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you start with 10 cards. Some of them are for purchasing. Some are for doing damage. Some can help heal. You play as 4 different characters: Harry, Ron, Hermione, or Neville. And you start in year 1, and your enemies are the year 1 enemies. So it's like Malfoy and
what's Malfoy's special power? Does it go tell his father? I can't remember.
And then Crabbe and Goyle, and then Professor what's his name?
Quirrell.
Quirrell.
Poor stuttering Professor Quirrell.
Yes, that one.
We just watched all of the Harry Potter movies because Han had never seen any of them, so it's all fresh. It's all fresh.
It's every time you say Hannah hasn't seen it, I'm just like still blown away.
She
every
hasn't
time.
seen anything, but no, I mean, we're through most of, like, we've done all the Marvel, all the Star Wars. Now we're through
the 3 Indiana Jones movies.
She hasn't seen any of those, so we got to do those next.
Just the 3, right?
Well, there's another one coming out, so we have to.
Right, yeah.
So there'll be,
and that would make it 4. There are no others.
There's not another one that came out, and there wasn't a Shia LaBeouf involved in it at all. Who's to say?
But yeah, anyway, so this deck building game, basically every year is different. You have different enemies. You add cards that are available in the pool. You can buy spells. Each year you have to reset your deck.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the first year you buy your cards, and like they're usually pretty low powered, but then as you go on, they add more and more into the pool basically. So it can get pretty spicy pretty quick, but also like you have to fight each boss each time. So year 2, you also have to fight Quirrell and Crabbe and Goyle and Malfoy, but then also the Basilisk, and then someone else I can't remember.
Tom Riddle, probably. Oh wait, no. Who was the other bad guy in that year? It would have been the author guy who wiped it.
No, he's actually not. He's actually a card that you can use to discard. And you get like extra.
Yeah,
something.
He basically does nothing that year in the story, anyways.
But yeah, it's a cool like cooperative deck building game, and I like that they like have it themed around the years, and
it's smart.
It does a good job of giving you the feel of playing through like the whole story.
Nice. That's very cool. We recently there's a lot of board games that have been coming out recently from Ravensburger. Do you know that name?
No, but I could go for a Ravensburger right now.
Okay. But they make a lot of games where they take like existing IPs like cartoons or movies, and then they make a board game out of it. Like they had a Gargoyles board game that they came out with. There was a Goonies board game they did, Jaws. I believe we have a Princess Bride story board game, which is interesting. Whenever it's like your job to like take another thing and be like, how do we board game this? Like, what do we make this board game? Like, how do we do that?
What is the essence?
What is the essence of wetness? But and I think that's admirable. So whenever you're talking about like IPs and like moving them into a different thing, kind of to bring this back to our main point here is like whenever you have an IP and you want to move it to something else, it has to be done with the intent of not being like, okay, here's a game, let's make this IP fit our game that we have right now. I think if you go to that IP and be like, how do we make this?
How do we make this a game?
A game in a different space. I think that's a recipe for a better product. Now that being said, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate is still really fun. So but I think that lends itself more to the fact that the Betrayal system is a fun type of game to play. Unless you're Chris, he doesn't like games where he's versus all his friends. He wants to play with his friends, not against his friends.
That's right. I want to bring my friends up, not take them down.
I just want to take
because I will take them down.
I want to take them on, sweep them at the knees.
Well, and I think that might be a product of the game that they already have matching the IP so well. Okay. For example, Warhammer Fantasy and and Total War.
That's
like
true.
It was just made.
It's just like
they were made. It just made sense.
It just does it. It just does the thing. You know, it fits into that little comfy little, like there's a little pigeonhole. You could just put it right in. I'm assuming a pigeonhole.
This Warhammer shaped object
goes in the square hole. Goes in the square hole. That'll make some people mad on TikTok. But yeah,
like that TikTok of the they all just going in the same hole.
That's right. It goes in the square hole. But I enjoy that a lot because then you get to play a thing, because that was like the Stardew Valley game too. I was told is very fun.
The board game,
yeah.
It does a really good job of making you feel like you're playing a board game version of the video game.
And then there's like Doom. There's a Doom board game, and
do you just rip it apart
until it's done? You just rip it and tear it until it's done. You know, that's basically it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that's a far more interesting way to go about it.
Yeah, I think I definitely prefer that over just getting whatever Monopoly. Yeah. Or like the version of that, basically.
I think Chris, what we might have to do is we might have to play the Dark Souls board game and figure out.
I think we shouldn't do it right now.
No, but I need to like look at the rule book.
Right.
And see.
I'm interested in it. I think actually the Bloodborne game is a card game, if I recall correctly.
Is it?
That might be easier.
Hold on, let me see.
Which makes sense because I think Bloodborne was a little easier.
Whoops, I can't spell. Nope.
I guess another one is kind of Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk,
or the Shadowrun games.
There was, because that was if I'm not mistaken, both
of those were tabletop.
That was an inverted. That was a tabletop thing that they made into like a RTS, Fallout E sort of game.
Yeah,
which
I think there's been a couple Shadowrun games.
I've played a few of them. It's like an It's an RPG. It's like
Have you played Shadow? Like, have you played the
not
tabletop?
Tabletop. I have not played that one. But it is very interesting. I'm starting to formulate a new Dungeons and Dragons campaign right now, so I'm looking at.
I sometimes struggle. Like, I want to try other tabletop games,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same way I feel actually about like like Warhammer. Like, I want to try these other war games. Like, there's
Right.
so many out there. Um, like even just Age of Sigmar or oh man, what are some of them? Like Marvel Crisis Protocol,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
Star Wars Armada, Star Wars Legion. I think
There's
like there's just so many out there, and I'd like to try them all, but I feel like I don't have time. Like
it's like I have to learn stuff. Ugh.
I have to learn a new system.
Blah. I don't want to do that.
Right.
There is like a Star Wars a themed 5e thing that you can do also.
Well, isn't Spelljammer also spacey?
Spelljammer is space. It's like the astral plane, which is
Okay.
not necessarily space, but it's space. Um,
Okay, it's space in D&D, not space.
it's
It's
space.
not sci-fi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's different. But there's
I
like
gotcha.
plenty of like sci-fi content out there for sci-fi people who want to sci-fi, you know.
Yeah.
So there's but sorry, I spaced out for a second.
Ah, nice.
But but yeah, I mean, there's so many different flavors of stuff, and now I know that's became more about board games than anything else. But that really, I mean, Chris agrees with me in our little echo chamber here.
Hmm.
That's probably the best version of an IP switch that you can do without kind of like making it bad
Yeah.
or like hurting the main IP. XCOM did like they had their XCOM games, and then they tried like a third-person shooter type thing. I think it was called XCOM Declassified,
I recall this, and it went
and
poorly.
yeah, it wasn't great. And it's just like yeah, because that's not what it's about, you know.
Yeah.
It's about like cryptids and sci-fi stuff and aliens, um, and
But then there was also like I heard the Halo Wars was pretty good.
Halo Wars was pretty good, but then there was also like the Star Wars Empire at War, which wasn't very good because that
Oh,
was
I loved Empire at War.
you did. All right.
I thought it was great.
I think it was basic, but it was basically just Star Wars Age of Empires.
Oh, you're thinking of a different game.
I'm thinking of a different game.
What is that? Um, yeah,
Age of Starmpires.
Galactic Battlegrounds is what you're thinking of.
Galactic Map No Grounds.
Yeah, that was a reskin. That was a Age of Empires skin on that.
Yes. Okay. That.
In fact, it was made by the same company that did Age of Empires 2.
Oh. Okay.
So yes, that.
Got it. Dark Souls, the board game. Interesting. Okay. The I'm looking at. Sorry, I pulled it up on to make sure it was on my tabletop simulator, just in case. But yeah. So I think let's circle back to our main question here.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, is he a good actor or not?
He's good.
I think he's good. I mean, he's all kind of. He tends to be the same. We're not going to actually have this discussion, I think, but we'll do that another time. But our main question is: are these IP switches just cash grabs, or are they just cashing in on the popularity of the original, or are they actually good? And our answer, as always, is
It depends.
Yay! It depends, but it depends on whether it's done with love and care for the original IP,
While also wanting to make money.
while also wanting to make money. But you could also say like, here's what I'll say to that is, whenever you have a board game, you know, that's like $60. I don't think that that's a cash grab because you can't. There's not going to be a lot of people who are spending $60 on a board game. You know who spends $60 on board games? Me and other board game nerds.
I'm fairly certain I spent more than that on the Stardew Valley one because I had to buy it on eBay.
I think that one, from what I saw, I think is like $130 or something.
That's about what I paid.
But also it's like there's not a lot of them, so it's like that's not a thing where I think they're like, oh, we're gonna make so much money on this board game. It's like, hey, here's the thing, so we can keep doing stuff. Here's how much it costs,
Right.
with materials and whatnot. We don't have a big factory making these games. We have to get each thing individually printed and then put it in this box and then ship it to you and then have the box printed and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think it's grabbing the cash. I just think that it is something that's done where it's like, hey, here's an idea. Let's see if that works. And
right.
And it does.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how like the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games hold up. I think there's also a Fallout game.
There is a Fallout one. I've seen that one is pretty well reviewed. Oh, there's a Slay the Spire
might be
board game.
Elder Scrolls. Of course, it's a Slay the Spire board game. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an Elder Scrolls CCG as well. Or at least there was like an online version of one.
Interesting.
When online CCGs were the hotness.
Oh, very, very interesting, Christopher. You bring up some interesting...
But I digress.
Oh, hey, look, you can download on Tabletop Simulator. You can download a Space Jam DVD, Space Jam DVD, Space Jam DVD, Space Jam DVD. But anyway, so answer, it depends. That's your answer for this.
As is usual.
As per usual. And yeah. And if you want to if you have an IP that either you would like to see as a different thing, like a board game or a collectible card game, or maybe another video game, who knows?
Or if you know of one that's real good and you think we should try it, let us know.
Yeah, please. I am always looking for more of that kind of stuff. There's like 3 Batman games that I want to play that are all like cooperative board games.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. There's like I think it's either called like The Brave and the Bold. No, it's Batman the Animated Series Adventures is one of them. Yeah, R.A.P. Kevin Conroy, the best Batman. And then there's what's the other one? It's like something.
I'm about to ask a dumb question. Batman the Animated Series and the one with the black and red suit where there's old
Batman Beyond. Yep.
Batman Beyond. Was Batman Beyond after, like, were they in the same continuum?
It's the same because Batman Beyond...
Same Batman, right?
In fact...
Because he voiced both, correct?
Yeah, because in the very first episode of Batman Beyond, it shows, like, Bruce Wayne, but he's, like, older. Like, it's like his...
like Dark Knight Returns.
It's like, whatever. Yeah, he's like it's like his very last foray as Batman, where he's just like, I'm too old, I can't do it anymore, my body
I'm too old for this shit.
And then he retires, and then, like, all of a sudden it's the future. Input Terry what's his last name? Terry McGinnis. And he like stumbles upon, the Batman stuff, and then Bruce Wayne takes him under his wing and makes him the new Batman with all of his like new future gadgets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very cool. Me and my dad used to watch Batman Beyond all the time. I freaking love Batman Beyond.
That stuff was great.
Especially because that was I think Terry McGinnis was Eric from Boy Meets World. Was it Will Friedle? It was Will Friedle.
It was. Good job.
And I love him. He's great. He's a giant nerd. Yeah. But anyway. I
Oh,
digress.
the story begins in the year 2019.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. The far future of the year 2019.
Wow, there was only 52 episodes of that.
I think it's still 3 seasons, though.
Yeah, well, it's like short season, long season, short season. A nice little ABA.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but anyway, we digress. There's a tangent squad here for it. But
yeah, this is just constant tangents. Jesus,
listen, it's a tangential pod.
a tangent podcast.
But that'll be it for our episode of Game Brew Podcast. If you want to listen to more Game Brew Podcasts, you can listen to all of our previous episodes by going to www.thegamebrew.com. You can also follow us on your favorite podcasting medium and or podcatcher, if you will, and then listen to our backlog of podcasts that way. Spoiler alert, Allison shows up around episode 25 and then is here from then on, even though she's not here right now. But yeah, you could do that. You can also come hang out with us in our Discord. I've been on the hunt for a new massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And
Is Guild Wars 2 not doing it for you?
No, it's doing it okay so far. I'm not like blown away by it yet, but it's kind of scratching the itch. I'm still kind of feeling it out. I'm feeling it out a little bit. Neverwinter, really bad. Like, not really bad. They did this weird thing in the beginning of it where instead of just like being low level and doing like, oh, you do 10 damage to these low level enemies, it's like some crazy, like you're doing 15,000 damage to stuff. And it's like, you don't need those big numbers.
I don't understand when MMOs do like stupid numbers like that.
It's just to make you feel good, to be like, oh, I'm doing so much damage. It doesn't. It makes me feel stupid because you have to pander to me.
Pander to me in the way I want you to pander to me.
Yeah, don't pander to me in the way I don't want you to pander to me. God, get your pandering right. But like anyway, I go on that tangent to say I will be in the lounge in the Game Brew Discord, just kind of hanging out. That's bit.ly/discobrew. If you haven't joined it, and then once you join it, it'll be the Game Brew Crew is the name of it. You can I haven't been streaming recently because things have gotten in the way, and I threw my back out last Thursday, so my it hurts to do things for a long period of time, like sitting. I have to stand up and like walk around and things like that to kind of keep things moving.
You need to do that right now.
I will for a minute while we're getting things ready to play, because I have to go get my other beverage.
Oh yeah, I switched to Dragon's Milk, by the way.
Dragon's Milk.
Anyways.
Whenever you want to get fucked up and also drink a thick ass beverage.
Well, to be fair, I did go down in percentage of alcohol by volume between these two drinks.
That is true. You did do that. But whenever I do stream, you can see me on bit.ly/tubecrazed with the rest of the Mongoose Omelet boys.
It's a reference to your past, of course.
Yes. Also Hannah and I play games sometimes, not for too long because she gets motion sick. Allison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why we can't play Minecraft, which kills me because I love Minecraft.
Dude, we should play Minecraft.
You want to play Minecraft?
I have to see if I.
Yeah, I don't think I have it on this computer actually right now.
We should do that. We should do that though.
Well, you should do what I want you to play Skyblock with me at some point.
Is that Minecraft or is that not Minecraft?
It's Minecraft. It's Minecraft, but it's like there's a bunch of mods on it. So
so it's modded Minecraft.
It's modded Minecraft, but you start on like one block in the sky with a tree on it, and then you have to like kind of build out from there. But it's got like different building mechanics that you have to kind of learn. It's not that hard, but it's just like you have to think a little bit more. And there's like a bunch of different like skill trees that you can go down to do things on.
To tell you how long it's been since I played Minecraft, I'm having to go through and switch my Java edition over.
Oh no, I don't know if I ever did that either, to be honest. So, but anyway, that's the stuff. We're the guys. If you have questions for us, please. Oh, you can send us an email to thegamebrew@gmail.com if you want to. I still get those sometimes. It's mostly spam at this point. But with that being said, we're going to sign off on the podcast portion of tonight's festivities by saying what we always say when we finish the podcast, which is good night,
everybody.